So I'm really happy that my idea of her being better than I think the end of the previous episode made it out to be turned out sort of true. Personally, I was expecting more of a guardian of the earth or something to that large of a scale. But I have to say, I'm perfectly fine and content with her kind of protecting the kind of souls that have come to be cleansed, as she kind of refers to. And ultimately, that's the reason they had to get their ass fired. With a bonus, sure, but still fired nonetheless, because, having demons and heroes kind of disrupts the flow. Initially, when she said, you're disturbing my customers, I thought to myself, what the actual hell is wrong with this girl? Because not only were the customers seemingly happy with them, as seen by, you can look at the start of the episode, or the episodes in general surrounding this plotline, they very much were happy, but then when you see what she was actually referring to, it makes a lot of sense. They easily could have made her out to be someone who wanted to hunt them or something like that, but I like the fact that not only does it make way more sense, not only because, you literally have Auntie Landlady, who already is a questionable character in of herself. What is her true purpose, all things considered? Sending her to someone that she's related to and, knowing what she does, there's got to be some questionable things going on with her. But the idea of, like father, like daughter, sort of protecting the souls, I think that's a pretty cool thing. And rather than it just being characters who are lost at sea, it's just a much more interesting plotline, all things considered. You easily could have characters just always trying to fight Mao and Emmy and even Chi, because she tags along so much. It's just way more fun for me to see something like this, which she didn't overstay her welcome. Sure, I kind of wish we saw more of her. I'd much rather have characters leave me wanting more than to have them stick around forever and basically, kind of not do a whole lot and make you feel like, oh man, I really liked them at the start, but all things considered, they really need to stick around for 6 episodes. So while I hope maybe we'll see her again someday, I like the idea of just for a few episodes, almost like a summer vacation, right? Having something basically just, it's a nice little self-contained threat, something that allows to see Mao and company kind of flex what they're able to do, while also getting to see Mao power up to essentially his full form. And even if it wasn't quite his full power level, it was pretty damn close given the fact that he commanded that army without much struggle. All things considered, seeing him back to his original form, which is badass in of itself, seeing his army come through basically acting like it's the will of their king and trying to do what they were doing. It was just really fun to see him pop up, not only just say, hey, I've already claimed the sword, wrap his arm around Emmy. That was a flirtatious power move of itself. But just to see what they were able to do in this episode, it was just honestly awesome. And while this season of Devil's a Part-Timer may not have been the best animated thing of the season, like I said last week, probably the best animated, the best directed episode. And truthfully, this episode wasn't too bad either. I honestly thought it was pretty more consistent than what we've seen in prior episodes, not including last week's, of course. And it was just really fun seeing the gang kind of group up together, because the moral and theme at the very end of it was that they've really kind of bonded, that they've kind of become a lot softer. Sure, Mao's saying that he's going to conquer and command all of them, which honestly gets taken out of context, which honestly, who knows what he actually meant there. He very much could have said oh no, I'm actually saying I'm going to command you, I'm going to make my own little harem here. But most likely it was just him saying I am going to get back to business, I am going to power up, going to retain my power, going to get them all back, and I'm going to conquer Earth, I'm going to go back to my demon realm. Of course, he's not actually going to go there. It's very much clear, in my opinion, that he'll stay on Earth and basically give up. Maybe he'll pass the torch over to someone, maybe Best Bird Boy over here, who the hell knows. The best thing that this season of Devil is a Part-Timer has going on for it compared to, I would say, the first, is just the general way the characters are bonding a lot more than I think what we got in the first season. The biggest thing I always wanted to see when it came to Devil's a Part-Timer, talking with friends as we waited damn near 10 years to get a season 2, thinking we never would, was that I really wanted to see more about the demon and the kind of hero kind of angel sort of realms, how that would interlink with a long-term story. And as we get more of these familiar names dropping, seeing some of the big shots from his demon devil army there, I think they're building up an interesting way to keep him on Earth without losing his King Satan title, because all things considered, right? When you look at it, right? King Satan, who leaves the demon realm and charged with someone, he comes in and says, hey, shit's not working out. I like the fact that they realistically pushed them all back in without it feeling someone's going to immediately try to overthrow or take up his title, when he has a realistic way to explain, I'm doing my thing, I'm trying to promote hell, all things considered. I'm gaining power, I'm gaining allies here, all things considered, go about your day-to-day business, I'm coming back someday. It's just a matter of what he'll actually do when that time comes. To me, it makes the most sense for him to eventually say, I don't want to be King Satan in the way of ruling hell, ruling over demonkind. But he'll probably find a way to bring about peace between the angelic heaven realm and the kind of demonic hell realm. Most likely, I imagine he'll pass the torch to someone. Normally, I'd say like Allseal or someone, but it almost feels like he'll always be by Mao's side, all things considered. So I like the idea of that maybe instead of like going about giving it to one of the obvious characters, maybe our new best peep over here potentially could be the one who gets like the full-on promotion rather than just simply being, the fill-in while King Satan's kind of doing his day in and day out job at working at McDonald's and everything like that. All things considered, I think what this episode does is it makes it a lot clearer of where those sections of the stories are going to go, I think, in the future. Or at the very least, it puts a band-aid on the wound that is, oh shit, with him not ruling over the demon realm, shit very well could go wrong. Yes, he put people in charge to deal with it while he was away, but how long does that really control? Because people are going to listen, as seen by literally bowing immediately when they recognize who's who. But when you consider the fact that people will eventually get ideas of their own that, no, this is what King Satan would want, no, this is what King Satan would want, you can see how shit can get very, very bad very quickly. So I think this episode does a great job at, like, covering their tracks for, like, not maybe touching upon that section of the story for potentially seasons on end, while just further fleshing out these character moments because they really have become an odd batch of family, and they just seem like they get each other through and through now. Obviously, there's the romantic build-up between Emmy starting to realize that she has feelings for Mao. She's always been a pretty obvious she has feelings, and Mao deciding himself where he wants to go is a decision in of itself, right? But for an episode that basically ends an arc a lot faster than I thought it was going to, I thought it did what it needed to. It made it make sense. It made it kind of make sense for the future of the show, all things considered, in terms of making sure the Demon Realm's going to be okay while he's doing his own thing up here, while also making it seem like he's propelling his own power kind of search, right? He's trying to regain his power so he can go back there, but we all know what he truly wants to do at the end of the day, and that is flip some burgers and get into a relationship, right? But pretty fun episode. Nothing crazy, but what I like about these episodes is that it doesn't need to be crazy. It's enough to cover its tracks, make sure we don't look behind and say, oh, it's missed over this obvious thing. Instead, we can leave an episode saying, this makes a lot of sense for the context of where they're at, and it makes sense that we don't have to worry about the demon realm, just now these angels that are trying to come after us and take away Beth's daughter over here. But fun episode, excited to see where they're going to go from here. Hopefully this isn't going to be the last time we see Amne, but I mean, if it is all we get, it was a very fun character while she lasted. But thoughts down below, theories if you got any. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.